Analytics under very big, heavy pressure. But before we handle this pressure, I'd like you to just stand up. And just do one of these. One. So, welcome to Deal Serbia, and many thanks to Edward Markovic to invite all of us here. I'm proud to host these fantastic gentlemen, and I'm going to call them one by one and tell you who they are. And I'm going to ask them very tough questions. And our topic is the unique challenge of winter. And these people have been squeezed like a lemon for a long time anyway, and they will share their experience. First, applause to Fernando Matos, Director of Scouting, Futebol Clube de Famalicão. Donati, the star of Italia, Chief Analyst, Bologna FC, 9-9. And we're coming closer to this area now. Armin Bezdan, Lech Poznan. And now, let's go into the other side of the business. Jeremy Salif, all the way from United States football agent. Well, first I'll introduce the gentlemen, who they are. So Fernando, your career scouting clubs in the leagues, from Shakhtar to all sorts of other clubs, and we present you as the Prince of Portugal. Secondly, Yuri Delati, Chief Analyst, Serie A Club Bologna, and Bologna has been on the rise since its arrival. And Armin Bezdan from Poznan. Armin is Ekstraklasa Polish club is representing. He operates in the market that sometimes very high, sometimes very low. Jeremy operates essentially league between clubs operating under pressure. A lot of pressure, and well, obviously a unique perspective. Plus, you are actually coming from the basketball side, and reading the game, I guess, is a little bit different than the football people.
Well, we can say.
And now, Fernando, my first question to you: and your career includes scouting clubs in leagues known for high volume of recruitment, Ukrainian leagues, Portuguese top flights, and the calendar flips to January, only very little time, we all have. And how does your methodology change to find a hidden gem player in a longer term to make immediate impact?
First of all, thank you for the invite again. It's a pleasure to be here, and good morning to all. We try to don't change nothing in January. So we try to don't have stress in January, and we try to make the general like we work in October, November, trying to confirm the players we already find, and not trying to find another one. Which, if you find, it's okay, But in January we try to have a good list, a strong list, and to have sure that we have a strong list. I know that a lot of things can change in January, but as I told in the yesterday presentation, we don't try to make different things in January because the stress will be high if we do that, and we try to make the confirmations of what we work in the other months. For us, probably is a month without stress. In the last 2 days of the January, the club is.
So everything remains the same?
For us, yes. And we try to do the job before. In that moment, I think January is not a good month to find any kind of talent because it's not a month of, imagine, South America is not playing, a lot of countries are not playing. The countries that are playing, like Portugal, start in September, in August, not start in January. So, in my opinion, if you are starting in January, it's a bad work.
So what happens if someone is injured all of a sudden? Are you prepared for that?
Yes. We try to prepare seasons to injury in January, to a player that we can solve in January. So imagine this moment, we already have lists to the club, to the board. If any player, the stress, I spoke yesterday, the only stress I imagine is injury. Because it can happen 2 days before the end, it can happen in the training session of the last day of the market. The rest, imagine, now we know the players we can sell. Now we know if the classification is good for us or not. Now we know if the classification is top, we know we can lose the coach. Because other clubs can sign in. You have to be prepared for everything, even for the scouting coach, even if we lose the coach. The only stress is the injury, because we are not prepared. The rest we have to be prepared for everything.
Well, thank you very much for the first question, but I'm going to squeeze you harder in the second question.
I hope.
And vetting the unseen. Welcoming Yuri Delati all the way from Italia. I mean, obviously, in the last, I can't really say it, but since your arrival there, there's a certain level of Bologna going up. Maybe coincidence, but in my opinion, there's a lot of input by you. And you deal with all these data sets on a daily basis. I mean, we've been friends for a very long time anyway. How quickly you narrow down the analytical criteria to deal with all this pressure, identify the targets in this specific time frame, immediate tactical needs, etc., during this short transfer window period.
Hello to everyone.
Can we have some claps for you? And one clap for him. We'll clap to you all day.
So thanks so much, Tarkan. The question is hard to answer, but we will try, okay? And I would like to say thanks to forever. So when I would like a mixed room, I hope. When I arrived to Bologna, what I choose, the first thing is like say to my board, the team to all, we need to speak the same language. Because if we speak the same language, maybe we can arrive speedily, to all answer. Sometimes I listen like a coach that spoke like, oh, I need number 6A. Later my director say, I need mezzala. Later my chief scout say, I need 8, so it was like different all time. So for answer to this question, we start to speak about the same language. So we remove, because I hate honestly, the word of the role, because role is nothing. Role is only goalkeeper, role is center back, role is full back. But what later? So I remove the kind of the role and I start to speak about what they are doing, what we need. So not role, but kind of role. So we identify like more than like 85 kind of role that can be in our lineups maybe. So in, for example, in this market, if we are really go to need something speedy, we are thinking only about physical data. Why say it? So because physical data is like natural. If you come from, I don't know, from Africa, from India, from everywhere, and you are doing like 34 kilometers per hour, it will be the same in Italy. So we are trying to, if we need to see some footballer, we are seeing speedily like the physical data, like intensity, like aggressive, like passion on the field, like the structure of the profile of the footballer, because we think that this is like, it will be like perfect and speedy. So in Germany, only, I think that we think only in this volume.
Well, it's great to know the structure behind it, and 85 different profiles. And a quick question on this one as well. So we're talking about 85 different profiles, and 85 different fitness correlation.
No, correlation, I think that is always one. Like we are studying maybe.
So how do you engage different profiles, different fitness variables?
With all XY position. With all raw data, we are studying too much raw data because I like. So later it's easy to us to recognize the kind of raw and adapt speedily the physical correct data. For example, I can say that we have like for our lineup striker, we have like more than 20 trends of physical data. And when I speak trends of physical data, don't be crazy with me, because when I started thinking about physical data, I saw a big correlation with financial market. When you sell and you buy, I don't know, Bitcoin, when you sell and buy XAU, etc., etc. If you start to study all the graphs, you see a big correlation about physical data. So I create a big structure like to apply speedily this physical data to our kind of role, like link-up striker, like shadow striker, like everywhere.
So how do you communicate the coaching staff before the transfer window? So what's the communication style? Do you speak with the head coach, assistant coach, the fitness coach?
Yes.
These days, specifically the
Every day.
fitness coaches are also involved in the scouting process.
Every day.
So how do you go backwards and forwards between these people?
Honestly, every day we have a big communication. So no, in these days, no. Every day, yes, we have like a meeting, and it can be like 1 2 hours with each coach, with the assistant coach, with honestly with each coach. Not every day, but with assistant, with strength of conditioner, and physical coach. Every day we need to speak, because we would like to understand really what the coach needs. So we are working for the club, but too for the coach, if we would like to win.
Great. Now I'm turning to my left. Managing all resources, and again in a big pressure environment during this very short. And what's your process when you're dealing with less scouted leagues? And how do you correlate that information to coaching staff, similar to what I asked you?
Okay, at the first.
Let's clap Armin first.
Hello everyone, it's a big pleasure.
Mike.
Okay. Hello everyone, it's a big pleasure for me to be here. And yes, we have our office next to sport director and in the same place like a coach, coaching staff. We have a meeting probably every day, not official meeting, but we spend the time together and talk a lot. And yeah, risk is normal in my job, and we must be ready for that. All of our scouts have like me 4-5 leagues, and makes a lot of records. We have a big database, and we working about January transfer window and summer transfer window all the time. We need to be ready, and we prepare every month ranking of the players, and our boss commented that, talked with us about players, about abilities, about everything. And yeah, for us the biggest problem is the injuries in the player, because that's the situation, some new situation, dynamic situation, and we must to be ready for that. And after that, we are looking for our ranking list, talking about the players in the first, second, and third place, and looking for the best solutions for the coach, for the team, and for the sport director.
Are you also involved in day-to-day team activities? Like, do you go to your own games, and how do you try to understand the coach and what they want? Exactly the profiles, and how they actually letting you know, how they describe the players that they want to.
In every season, before every season, we have a meeting, official meeting with the scouting department, with sport director, president, and coach, and we talk about the profiles. And we have maybe not the same, but we have a profiles last 5 years, because philosophy of learning is the same, and sometimes we try to modify something. It's normal, but generally we like to play offensive, attractive for the fans, high intensity, high pressure, and everyone for us know about the profile of players. We have tactical and technical criteria, around 6 in every position, and in the last 2 seasons we cooperate with database, with the science department in our club, and we have physical criteria too. Maybe less markers like Bologna. We have only 6 than 8 physical criteria in every position.
Well, thank you very much, Batgun. And now let's go to the United States. And here is the basketball player. The first question, I have a question for you, but this is extra. How a basketball person coming from the basketball environment sees what's going on inside football?
Yeah, thank you, once again, thank you guys for having me here today.
Sorry, we forgot to clap. Jeremy.
All right, awesome. I think it's kind of like this, where high IQ sports, from the player to the scouting world, are transferable. And so I'm a firm believer that while there is know-how, particularly within the little nuggets of each sport, sometimes there are some similarities and stuff. So in basketball, football, I see this as kind of doubling the size of the pitch, we're going to the court, and also doubling the size of the men at actually wanting to goal. And you see a lot of the same things that exist, particularly. So when you're talking about the score space in basketball, is not that far off in many cases. from trying to create space within the front, third, and center of the pitch. And you see a lot of similarities. A good pass in basketball is still a good pass in football. You know, you're able to find a man, you're able to figure out exactly where your defender is going to be. Those are things that just never change. And you're able to see that at a high level in basketball, you're able to pivot it in football, vice versa. You know, we're here in Serbia, right, where we talk about a country that has now, I mean, there's argument to it, but by far the best passer, 7-footer we've seen in basketball, right? At least a top 3. Doesn't dawn on me that maybe does come from his abilities to play football at a younger age and seeing the more sport dynamics that exists to that. And so in many cases, we don't think that's a credit, very much so to in those ways. But a lot of those skills, especially at key side, are transferable. And so that's kind of like for me, coming from the basketball world and into the football world, which came from the master's program of how I ended up in the football world. That I saw it also as a young kid, it lost sense. Wasn't different.
Well, what is the negotiation strategy in a short term? Because you manage a lot of clients from a lot of different places, plus United States operates a little bit differently than European or South American. So how do you adjust the culture? This is another question. But at the same time, in the short term, rather than money, the deal is the most important leverage. So how do you actually manage that relationship with different cultures?
I think it's funny because, you know, right now in the U.S., we just finished, right? So, you know, Miami is our champion nonetheless, and we're right into our season. Most of our guys right now are on vacation doing something else around the world. And so you kind of see the pressure put on one end of it where, you know, here in Britain, getting ready and wrapped up for January window. From January, it's our preseason. And so the leverage, particularly on the club side nonetheless, is, you know, are we happy where we are going forward last season, you know, so the kind of time frame for this season. It kind of becomes a funny kind of trend because also, you know, in neighboring countries such as Mexico, which does go in the regular January window, you know, the pressure's on, right? And whenever it all comes from just are we happy with where we are today? And if you're not happy with where you are today, you ask yourself, well, can we do better in the league? In many cases, or are we making a move just to make a move? For me, one thing that's important for a lot of my guys is simply put, you know, as Asians, we make money off your commission to put it down, right? But at the same time, your goal is to make sure that you do the best fiduciary returns for your guys. And so, is it a move just for 6 months, you know, or a year that you get your part of it, but the player's in a worse position? Or is it a move that allows for the player in 2 years to say, okay, but you're able to come in, this is a better environment for you, you want to grow, not just a footballer, but as a young man. In many cases, we clear about that too. Are you able to say, looking back on the 2 years ago, that okay, this is just the right decision moving forward? So a lot of the leverage that we talk about, most of the time because we have the time, right? We're not at the same time pressures where a lot of American Canadian players. But money's a part of it, but are you going to grow and say 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that this is the right choice? And that's something that is a family decision, well, along the player.
Thank you. So I'm coming back to Portugal again. Let me just pick up a question you cannot answer. Well, when we talk about, especially your side, Portugal, Spain, a lot of political pressure is involved. And sometimes the sudden availability of a player, and you need to integrate him into your team's existing scouting metrics. Political, data-wise, and deal-wise at the same time. So how do you manage all these 3 metrics together to make the best choices?
Yeah, in January, we have a good training moments during the rest of the season because, as we mentioned, a club like Famalicão receives a lot of players to watch during the season, not only in January. But sometimes, even in October or September, we receive players that we need to give an answer in that Imagine a player that probably tomorrow will sign for another club. We need to give an answer in that moment. So it will be the same in January. In January, the players we receive normally from agents are players that good opportunities to make, and we have to be clear. So we already work like that during the rest of the season. So it's not imagine we receive every year maybe 2,000 players to make a report. So we have moments of training. The pressure exists, the political of course exists, but the pressure exists to give an answer. I think we try to be fast. We are 3 million to scouts only, and we try to. I think during a day, every people here that will work with a Y scout, we can watch 5 games if we look only for the events players. So if I put same player for all the department, we can watch maybe 15 games in a day. So we can give an answer. The biggest problem in January, in my opinion, there are 2. We have no time to understand the profile of the player, the mentality. It's not easy. For 2 reasons. It's not easy. Even for me, with time, it's not easy because if you have an Instagram top, we look to the Instagram, we don't see nothing special, and he's a stupid guy. And even the opposite, you look to the Instagram and you say, tattoos and things and that, and he's a top person. So it's not easy. And if you make a lot of questions, the price can be double. So it's not easy in January to try to find the information. The other problem, normally the board, when asked us 2 days to finish off the window, they want a positive answer, not a negative answer. And in that moment, our stress, we need to be honest. And if we don't like the player, we don't like the player. Even in 2 weeks.
What happens if the coach likes it, you don't like it?
Sorry?
The coach likes it, you don't like it. Or president likes it, you don't like it. So what happens?
Believe me, if I don't like, and people in Famalicão know that, if I don't like the player, I don't like. Even everyone like, if I watch the player and I don't like, I will say I don't like even until the end. And if we sign the player, I will say I don't like. He said it's the top player. It's the best player of the world. When he signed. Before I will say every time I don't like and why I don't like. Just don't like them. But why I recommend that I put all the positive things and negative things, even if now imagine, if I have a player for an agent that I know is a very good friend of the board, my answer will be the same. If I don't like, I don't like. Even I know that I'm buying a stress. I know even I can buy problems, but I think we need to be honest until the end, because our opinion will be stronger if we say no and everyone likes and he comes and it's not so good as always. Because imagine, I can watch 15 games. I don't believe that the coach watch 15 games. You need to coach. You need to prepare the training session, not to watch. Even the assistants,
They don't have time.
they don't have time. If they have time, something is wrong with it. We have time. It's our job. And we know that in January, all the staff know of the department. We know that we arrive at 8. We don't know which time we will go to home. And our family knows that. It's the January, it's the August, principally the August. So we have to watch 15 games. If we can watch 20 games, we will watch 20 games. If you have to watch only some kind of moments of the player, we will watch. to give a strong answer. And if you don't like, you don't like. And that will be a stress point in January. Because if I said no to a player in October, the stress is not so high. In January, 3 days to the end of the market, it will be a stress. And yesterday I said, it's better a very good player than a perfect player that we cannot sign. So if you have a list with very good players, if until the end you don't arrive a player better than that, or you have a very good player to sign.
Thank you. Well, you, back to you again. I mean, you are always in the numbers, and within this data scope, is there a way that you kind of invented, or you leading the way, assess the character who can handle this pressure coming to the club on this January window? And you obviously have less time to see the personality, adaptability, on the field performance, and the key data points. So how do you combine everything to make the right decisions?
Okay, but before, I would like to collegate your question with what Tim answered. Because, okay, we have no time, we have maybe, if we try to find some information from some footballers, like we can say sometimes white, sorry, and we can say sometimes black, sorry. So, we don't know what we say. But if we would like to understand the real information of the footballer, we need to start to try to find who is in the circle of the footballer. Because from the mother, from the girlfriend, from the brother, they want to be if they have not been. So they share many information and they don't understand that sometimes they do the wrong thing because they try to maybe cancel to the football career. No? So when we try to understand, to see in the journey, some footballer is speed adaptability to our field, to our club, we try to simulate something, like take the footballer, but inside our shape position, our team, our work, and simulate minimum for season, for understand the real adaptability of this footballer. So if it is suitable, we can buy. Later in the afternoon, I will show something, and I will show to some like the adaptability one, because it's really a question that what you do is not easy to answer, but it's easy maybe to start to simulate, to thinking, no? Okay, we need to think that we are by this footballer. How many times maybe we do the right training? So we start to calculate, for example, the wage of the training with the ex-staff or the real staff of the real coach, no? So we can check something like some strength condition to understand the adaptability speed, but we have no time to say. So time is okay, time is not okay. We are listening.
Thank you very much. Now, obviously there's far more traffic, incoming traffic. A lot of agency offers that you receive, and how you verify the suitability of the player. But also, I'm wondering, how do you measure the quality of the segment? So, do you kind of prioritize the agencies they sent offers to in the past? Oh, okay. Jeremy sent me a very good player last season.
Of course.
And he played really well, and we bought him for 1 million, sold him for 5 million. Okay, if Jeremy sends a profile, he goes to the top of the table to investigate. Or a brand new agent comes, you never dealt, and sends a transfer market. So how do you validate these two, and how do you put them in a kind of ranking to spend time on it? Because Fernando said a lot of times, so if you want to give a true identification of the player, okay, you watch one game, 90 minutes. We kind of seen sparks, okay, what do we do? Well, another 90 for the same player. It's really good. Okay, then, let's say Conference League game. So then when you accumulate, you made already 5 hours. So just tell us a little bit about this equation and the circle in this.
Okay, for sure, relationships is very important in our job, in my job, and generally in our life. And everyone from us, from the scouting leg, have a good connection in the leagues. For example, I'm responsible for Greek market, Czech market, Cyprus, Bulgaria, and the Italian lower division. And in these countries, I have 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 trusted people, agents, sport directors, coaches, ex-players, generally my friends. And I try to talk with them about the player. And of course, if my trusted agent send me the name of the player, I always try to check this player, but it's the higher possibility to be this player like a priority, because I have a lot of work every day. I observe a lot of leagues, a lot of games, and then this player can be the priority for us. And I check this player in database. If I have his name is good, is more easy to doing the next step. If not, I try to watch this player in my scout. But other first, I check his skills in skill corner. If he don't have good filters, good physical filters, I send the information to my colleague agents. Sorry, but we need better players, better physical players, and that's all. If he's good, I screen the player, because last time our philosophy, we don't observe in January for sure all games. In Y Scout, I screen the players 15 minutes, 20 minutes, point by point with his profile, football profile, and after 20 minutes I have an opinion, general opinion, yeah? He's a good guy or not for that. And if he's good, okay, I talk with agent, I talk with my boss, we have an interesting player, agent, and we looking for him together, we talk, and yeah, that's the way.
Thank you very much. And I'm also wondering, are you also involved in outside loans? Like who should we go to the loan or the player sales in Polish market?
Yes, the loans is very important. Loans in and the
Out.
loans are out.
Yes.
Our players out.
Yes. And selling.
And
Are
selling.
you involved in that process also?
Yes, we try to help. We have good connections with the agents, with sport directors too, and a lot of sport directors asked me about our players, about my opinion, about possibilities to transfer, and we scouts try to help sport director to that. But of course, it's sport director job, but we try to help.
Great. Now, Jeremy, for your clients, right, who might not be happy seeking a move in January, for example. And, well, how do you as the agent manage your clients' expectations and prepare them to move possibly in the next 48 hours? So the challenges.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them. So for me, the biggest thing, kind of go back to the previous question before, was, you know, is it the right move? First and foremost, are we moving just because you're unhappy, or are you an injury, or is someone in front of you maybe an injury away, or maybe the coaches was all away from a dynamic change this season? But we have to discuss, is this just the right move? Instead of being 6 months, it's like 2 to 3 years. That's the first priority there. Let's say it is, right? And with all on the table, the next thing comes to me, player care. And that is something that in Europe is trending upward in a better way. But once again, the guy doesn't just get 10 goals. You know that, right? And you bring him in, you're expecting to get another 10 minimum. But if he doesn't have his girlfriend, doesn't have his wife, his kids are not happy, they're on the other side of the planet, still in school because January, once again, is the term. His favorite place in Bolognese, with the time is not there anymore. You know, that's going to stuff on the other day. So for me, a big part to it is definitely, is he going to be happy on the other, more or less, 15 to 18 hours a day, right? When he's working with the facility or on the pitch. And so for me, that's one of the keys there. The preparation part, no, we work with the guys that are really professional and understand that this is a business and it will always continue to be a business, that it makes it a little more lenient, but I think for me the biggest part of the reliance on it is the club series on the welfare of the guys as well. And so if not, you know, it becomes an issue in itself. I think much more so than another road because once again, why is better performing, and once again, doesn't have any food, not able to even find resources. I think maybe some of the little things that we do have to do with the nugget part is, you know, that sourcing part where, let's say even a guy coming from the US and going to a small town, right? You're maybe hour going from Brussels or Antwerp, or maybe you're looking at the options of a guy who's usually going for, maybe going from California, some quinoa bowls, whatnot, going under that, and is unaccustomed to the weather, unaccustomed to the driving style, unaccustomed to the apartment layout, little things like that that do help in helping a guy get up and to be a very professional every day. And so within those 48 hours, you kind of analyze what makes the best sense and working with the club particularly and making sure that, once again, player care, the importance of having that player care involved to keep guys up and ready as they make the most part of me.
Well, great. Well, like this, I mean, I have millions of other questions, but from the audience, is there any questions? And please raise your hand. If you don't raise your hand, I will point you out and I will ask questions.
Okay, hello guys. I have a question about that. How do you handle the failure in the scouting department? Because all we know that no club in the world have always a good champion, you know. And what are the mistakes in your maybe sports department and scouting departments are having? Like, what are the most mistakes of your scouts, and what are the most failures you think in the scouting department? Thank you.
Well, I will answer this one first. I personally made shitloads of mistakes in my life. But condolences to the grave of Christoph Daum that I worked with him in 2013-14 season. And he asked me, look, Tarkan, every single agent sends an offer, I want you to investigate. So I said, okay, because it was my first time as a director. I didn't know the volume of what I could get. So I had 7 scouts, actually, video scouts, and 2 field scouts. It was a good environment. So which we built a scouting laboratory, all these footage coming from youth academy, doing everything together. And The very first day, I found 50 offers on my table. 5-0. Well, I said, look, this is probably one-off, thinking. And it's about 2 months before January. Second day, another 50. Third day, I went to down. I said, Christoph, we promised something to you, but we cannot deliver. Well, the first mistake I did, before I took the job, I said, we could deliver everything. It's a mistake. The second thing, the process. Dawn asked us to develop a process as a data strategy, and I'm talking about 2013, 14, 16. And each player needs to have a performance point system. Depending on the team, depending on the quality of action, so I said, look, this is beyond my experience. So we hired 2 industrial engineers to develop, which to this date, I'm the CEO of Comparisonator, now AI does this. It eliminates the first. Why? The mistakes I did. The first thing that I did, okay, the team was watching these players and the highlights, watching the highlights and believing that he's a good player. And indeed, when I was working in my scouts, as you know, we programmed this to for the scouts to watch the highlights first. Which, when you watch the highlights first, you buy everyone. So that was my mistake again, to just feeling emotional, And later on, I call this, and also I'm going to a game. The agent sends a profile, he's flying, he's that. So I go to Germany 3 days for nothing. But at the same time, right? I am particularly watching a player, but I see another player that I like from 1 day performance on the match. So, and then I'm excited again. So I named this, which in the world literature now called destinism. Based on that one particular performance, making an opinion and falling in love with the player. Well, now, you guys give an opinion. I made a lot of more mistakes, so I'm just giving you the light ones.
I can give my opinion. First of all, I think we need to understand that we will do mistakes every season. We'll do it. It's our job, and our job is a high risk. But first of all, I think the best way to solve the problems, and yesterday I talked about that. Normally, we don't define the model of the game. Normally, the coach change every country. Portugal, normally in the 4th game, we change a lot of coach in the Portuguese way, and the coach change, and you don't believe in that player. You want to play in a different way, and for me, that's the biggest problem. If you have a profile of the club totally defined, if you know how to play, how we want to play, if the coach are totally integrated in that, and if you change the coach for any reason, bad results, good results, we can change the coach. If you change, the mentality of the game needs to be the same. If you change anything in that, yes, if you change anything, everything will. The player that is very, very top player for that position starts to be
all of a sudden Mourinho comes and fires everybody.
of course. But he said in August that Benfica was a top team, and now It's normal. And the other thing, we are in 2025. We have data, we have everything. I think we don't have mistakes about technical players. We don't have mistakes about physical players because we saw the player, data shows that we are right, but the rest we cannot control. When the player arrives in the club, if we don't have rules, if we don't have the right context, the player will not. I can give you an example. I'm a person, as you can see, I like to win. When I go to different countries, I don't eat so much. I don't feel so comfortable to eat that food. If I go to a different country, probably I will eat more than I eat in Portugal. The context is very, very important. If the club don't fit that, we are more close to make a mistake in the future.
Well, thank you very much for everybody, and let's clap for all the good people. And see you next round.